Good afternoon, good evening. 4:01, we'll get started here in a minute. Thanks for everyone starting to join us. Where's everyone from? If you're on here, chat with me. Tell me where you're from. I'm in Vegas today, where it is a little bit rainy and a little bit sunny. Rainbow day. Where's everybody at? Give me a little shout out from where you're at. Kansas. Bonnie, I feel like I've seen Bonnie here before, a couple times. Who else? What else we got here? Anybody else? Talk to me. Gulf of Mexico, Chicago, from Georgia. All right. So as we get prepared to get started, Atlanta, love it. Pittsburgh, Missouri. I love seeing where everyone's at. So what's the favorite holiday in the chat box? Del Rey, love it. What's the favorite holiday? Thanksgiving or Christmas? Alaska, Christmas. April 15th. Okay, all right. Thanksgiving, Christmas, both, all the above. I like it. All right. Holiday time. Is everyone ready? I tell you what, Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday is I feel like I don't have to do all the craziness of shopping. I can just enjoy and be with family and food and football. I feel like Christmas is like nonstop. I'm always behind. So Christmas. Although I do love all the build up to Christmas, all the call me cheesy, but I've been listening to Christmas music like in the radio and at home all day. You're getting feedback. Let me see. Let me take this off. Let me see if this helps. Okay. How about now? Can you guys hear me or no? Let me know if you can hear me. Yes, no, better, worse? No? Great. Yes, loud and clear. Perfect. Great. All right. No, Sandra, you can't hear me? I think everyone else can hear me. So maybe turn up your volume. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited about today's subject. We're going to talk about precious metals, gold, how it works, how precious metals work. But before we get started, let me, I'm going to share the screen, but I'm also going to get Claudia on here to say hello. Slideshow. Okay, everyone can see the screen. Hey, Claudia, there you are. All right, so everyone remember, usually about half of you are brand new and half of you know us and have been talking to us. Claudia's on here. She'll be helping with questions and answering questions I can't help with probably as well. She's got a vast knowledge and experience in the self-directed in the LLC space as well, but helps literally hundreds of our clients every single month on board. Getting started and getting their assets all set up and invested. So glad to have Claudia on with us. Claudia, can you talk to me? So what's your holiday? What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday would probably be my niece's birthday. I
Oh,
really enjoy that. That's my favorite day of the year, so that's
of course
definitely.
you say that. You make us all like make me feel bad. Like that's like the most giving thing. It's your niece's birthday. Well, that's the
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
person
I
that
look
Claudia
forward
is.
to that day every year, so I enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, good. Well, let's get started. As we get started, the normal disclosures, I want to remind everybody, Horizon Trust Company, we are a passive custodian, and we don't, advise or provide investment or sell investment services or legal or tax advice. So, look, at Horizon Trust Company, our goal is to help you facilitate your assets, administer your assets, make sure they're done, in a good, professional, and clean way, and in a fast way as well. Also, I've been told that I need to I'll always say, follow me on social media. I'm not good at this. I'm old school. When people ask me how I start my business, it was not through social media. It was school of hard knocks, shoveling snow, mowing lawns, talking to people. But please follow me on social media at Greg Herlean on Instagram or Facebook. My kids say because I look at Facebook, I'm old. Apparently, Instagram and other formats of social media are younger. But please follow me, and I'm trying to provide information. You get to see a little bit more about, what I'm up to, but also more importantly, kind of just what other people are doing, investments, investment wise, et cetera. So thanks for being here today. And throughout this process, Claudia Claudia, absolutely, you can interrupt me if I'm going too fast or if someone's got some questions that we need to get to. But I am going to save most of the questions for the end. So if you've got a question throughout this presentation, please put it in the question and answer or in the chat. Claudia will find it and ask at the end. We'll leave plenty of time for question and answers. There's my crew. If you've seen me before, this is my why. I don't usually do any presentation without sharing this. It's near and dear to my heart. And not only obviously family, just like everyone else, but so is this subject. This subject of self-directing, investing in what you know and what you like and understand is important. And it's not known, frankly. Most people just don't know they can invest in alternative assets. We help you at Horizon Trust Company to unlock your retirement funds, unlock some things that you might think you have to do because of the ways maybe your parents or grandparents or great grandparents invested. I'm here to tell you that what we're talking about today, literally tens of thousands, if not millions of people are doing exactly what we're talking about here, taking control of their money, not giving it necessarily to somebody else. I noticed Dow Jones did have its best day, I think, yesterday in the stock market, which is great, right? I've also noticed that Elon Musk said something the other day and their stock went down, and the market's just all over the place as normal. And so that's part of the whole self-directing mission is trying to avoiding the ups and downs of volatility and get some more consistent returns. So today is a subject that people have asked me to talk about, precious metals, investing in precious metals inside of a self-directed retirement account. It's an interesting and hot topic. It's actually something that's marketed all over the place. If you turn on, if you listen to satellite radio or online, or I see it in TV commercials all the time, investing in precious metals and gold bars and coins, etc. Can you do that with your IRA? The answer is absolutely yes. There are some pros and cons and some rules, and I'm going to describe and explain some of those things. And I've got kind of the most commonly asked questions, and I'm going to review that with you. So first and foremost, once again, a self-directed retirement account. If you're listening to this, if you have an old 401k, and I think people might hear this, and for the fourth or fifth time after they hear it, they'll actually finally do it. But if you've got this old 401k sitting out there not performing, don't let that be you. Put it to use. Invest it in something that you know and understand. And so many people I've seen has these old. My mom had an old 401k, had no idea what it was invested in, and it just was like staying stable or flat, sometimes going down, hardly going up. These old 401ks that you have out there can be self-directed into a retirement account with us at Horizon Trust. So absolutely, those are applicable. And if you're listening to this as well and you have a different kind of retirement account, a SEP, a simple, a Roth, we can help you with those accounts, get them transferred over to a self-directed simple, a self-directed Roth, a self-directed traditional account, so you can invest in what you want. And sorry if this is, a little redundant for some of you that have heard from me before. I just wanted to get everyone kind of on the same playing field. If you want to self-direct, we'll help you with that. Claudia throughout will put an appointment link where you can set an appointment with us. We can talk to you about your retirement account and answer any questions that are applicable to you, and or do the best that we can. And if we don't know the answer, we will get back to you. Or if it's a tax advice or legal advice, well, obviously we'll kick it back to you. So let's get started and talk about precious metals and how people invest that in their self-directed IRAs. So first, I wanted to share in general that there are a few things that you cannot invest in when it comes to self-directing. And first, one of those things is life insurance. You cannot invest in life insurance policies unless it's like through a 401k plan. It's a little bit complicated, but in general, you can't invest in life insurance. The other thing you can't invest in is collectibles. Now, sometimes that can be confusing when talking about precious metals, but there are specific precious metals you can invest in. What the Section 408 M talks about, it's a code, an IRS code that allows, and these sections describe what kind of precious metals you can and cannot invest in. And you can see here specifically, there's certain things you cannot invest in. For the most part, the coins need to be 99% gold or silver or platinum. Uh, for example, a collectible that you wouldn't be able to invest in be something like these these ceremony or what's the word I'm looking for, centennial kind of coins that are are decorative coins that might be part gold or 50% gold or even 75%. Those are truly collectibles. Your IRA cannot invest and purchase those. If the metals are 99% or more in purity, these do apply for self-directing for the most part. If you're not sure, we have an easy list. We can explain to you which ones. But in general, I'm going to talk about, when I talk about precious metals, this is what I'm going to talk about: bullion, gold, silver, platinum. That's the stuff I'm going to talk about today. So um, let's I a little bit talked about this here, but what is so precious about these precious metals? There's only so much of it. It's rare. So when people ask or even talk about precious metals, they ask about why should someone maybe invest in precious metals? Well, there is only so much of it, and I think that's one thing. Obviously, there's the conductivity of it. I have it on here, the solar industry, as far as metals itself, which is unique. It is a hard asset. People like precious metals in particular because it is a hard asset. A lot of people that I see invest with us at Horizon Trust Company are investing in it because they are a little concerned about the volatility of the stock market, and they're wanting to be in something that's more stable, like a precious metal, like gold and silver. Claudia, have you seen a big uptake? I feel like uptake in this last, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. I feel like we've seen more precious metals, people buying with their self-directed than ever. Would you say that's fair? And what kind of volume would you say that we've seen as a trust company in whole?
Yeah, I think in the last year, it has definitely more brokers have approached us to be their self-directed custodian. It's definitely something that is very popular right now. People are talking about it. The brokers are talking about it. So it's definitely something that has been in the upfront. And that's why we wanted to teach this, because it is something that people are interested in. We talk about real estate all the time because you're really, really good at real estate and that's what you love to do. But I was like, let's talk about something else that clients are actually investing in as well as real estate. So yeah, precious metals is definitely something that people are looking into right now.
I mean, I would say that the volume has been doubled in the last 6 months of
Mm-hmm.
people of investing in precious metals. And we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons. And I probably have a slide for this. I'm pretty sure I do, but if not, I want to just say this: we do not get paid at Horizon Trust Company as a custodian for any decisions you make on any investments, let alone precious metals. We are not a precious metals broker. We don't get compensated for what you invest in, and we're proud of that. I think that's actually one of the great things about being a custodian. We are an administrator of your IRA, your retirement account. We will administer your account and help you facilitate buying those precious metals with the chosen dealer that you choose. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit later as well. So, so what are, these are today's, today, actually December 19th. Yeah, this is today. Good job. They put today's pricing on precious metals. I would say these are obviously the most well-known precious metals that people are buying. One thing that's interesting to me, and I'm not, I don't buy a lot of precious metals, but I would say that typically when inflation is high, the metals go up in pricing, and it's been pretty over the last 18 months. It's gone down a little bit, but not down as much as a lot of the other sectors in the stock market. A lot of the tech stock market sectors in other areas as well have gone down 10, 15, 30% in the last 18 months. And I would say precious metal is one of those things that hasn't, I've actually would have considered, I thought it would be going up a lot more with inflation. It typically follows that inflation. But I will say it has actually has not gone down near as much as a lot of other sectors. And so that is probably one of the big reasons why people like precious metals, and is when the inflation increases and there's volatility, people go to metals. So, why invest your IRA in precious metals? This is interesting. I just talked about inflation, but there's also there's a trading mechanism. It is something that there's only so much of it. It is a hard asset. You can trade it. It's also one of the things that people like to diversify into. It's very easy to purchase, and it's very easy to measure of what the asset's worth. These are big reasons why people like to invest in precious metals. It doesn't usually swing as much as far as the volatility goes as well, and it's pretty consistent. It's a hard asset. So, how much should someone buy? Not my job. It's not my role to just tell you how much, but should individuals have precious metals in their portfolio? I would say absolutely. I think it is a good, solid investment. And it's more about choosing the right broker to help you buy those metals and do it the right way, which we can help you with as far as the process goes, and we'll talk about. So, again, is it good? It usually makes sense. I just kind of covered this. It doesn't make sense for someone to invest their whole portfolio into precious metals. I typically say it's not good for anything, frankly. Having some diversification, for me personally, like Claudia said, I'm a real estate guy. I love to invest in real estate. But having, some crypto, yes, my son forced me to buy crypto. He's like, if you don't do it, maybe not the best thing that I bought, but having a couple other alternative diversified assets is not a bad thing. I invest in businesses. I've invested in precious metals and in cryptocurrency. But my consistent stuff is real estate. But is gold and precious metals a good place to be in general? And it is. And for you to decide how much, that's something you can do with your advisor or with a dealer. So yeah, I would say these times of the market I'll keep going back to has created a lot of people interested in being these precious metals. And most people just don't know they can do it with an IRA. Buying the actual physical gold, coins and bars, etc. And we're going to talk about how you actually do that. So, disadvantages. Look, I'd say for me, as I look at this list of disadvantages, I would say probably is the lack of cash flow. For me, when I look at this list. Now, there's everyone's got their own portfolio and their own timing of when they need to liquidate. But I would say in general, a rental property or a note, et cetera, or a business might have some cash flow. These don't. These are more kind of sit and hold kind of assets. But there's definitely different variables that affect the pricing, and obviously supply and demand and storage costs, et cetera. We'll talk about that as well. How do you convert your IRA to precious metals without penalty? This part's pretty simple. It's not complicated at all. Once you have an account with us, about half of you typically do have an account with us already at Horizon Trust. If you don't have an account with us, the first step would be to open up an account with us at Horizon Trust, transfer over some or all of or a portion of your funds to us at Horizon Trust. It gets transferred over to us. And once that money and account is set up at Horizon Trust and rolled over to us, you then can select a broker. There's a list of brokers that a lot of our investors use on our website. But there are tons of brokers, and I'm just going to spend a minute right now on brokers. There's a few selected ones that I would say thousands of our clients use today that are on our website. Again, we don't get paid anything, no fee at all for a decision that you make on which broker you work with. But I will say you need to be careful. Just like anything, any investment advisor, I mean, you're not dealing with an investment advisor. You're dealing with a precious metals broker dealer who has fees, who has commissions. And that's totally acceptable, by the way. I'm in real estate. I have no problem paying real estate fees and commissions. So that is normal for the industry. But making sure you go with the right broker dealer to negotiate the best pricing that day and fees that as well only helps you. You don't want to buy something at 120 or 125% of its value because now the market's got to go up 20% in gold just to kind of be breaking even if you want to sell. So making sure you pick a good metals dealer or broker is really important. There's lots of them. You can look at our website. You can Google and just look at reviews and find some good companies. and again, I'm focusing on this because what we do at Horizon is we administer. I'm very proud that we do not make investment decisions, nor do we get paid a fee for when when you decide to invest in these different precious metals. On that note, as far as fees go, what's unique about us at Horizon Trust, I don't know that even have a slide for this. Sorry, I get sometimes ahead of myself on this, and Claudia, correct me if I'm wrong here, but um, we have a one-time setup fee when you open up a retirement account that holds precious metals, and then we have an annual fee, and our annual fee is around $395, and that fee, not around, it's that, correct, Claudia?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
flat fee of 395.
But it includes everything. And what does that mean? Um, a lot of companies will have try to kind of sell a lower annual fee, but then have transactional fees. They'll have additional fees that will actually make that fee much more. So we like to have, no transactional costs and fees, and just have a one-time annual fee that includes all transactions. Claudia, what did I miss anything on that? Because that's a question people ask often on as far as fees go.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to know because we are having transactions that are happening with precious metals. We're shipping the metals into the depository. The whole process of actually getting metals into an IRA is very different than any other transaction. You're not the one that's doing all of the movement. It's actually has to get shipped from wherever the broker is buying it from for you, going into the depository. The client is not allowed to ever have possession of the metals. They have to go into a certified depository for IRAs, and we do all of that in an inclusive fee for 395. Once they get to that, they're going to be in a storage facility, and you can at any point obviously ask us to go ahead and move them or do distribution of the metals, and we'll go ahead and do all of those transactions as a one-time fee for 395 a year.
So yeah, I mean it's all inclusive, and look, and that brings me to the last thing here. After you've opened an account, moved over your money into with Horizon Trust Company with us, you'll select a broker that will help you with the transaction and get your money then sent over to buy the actual physical gold. This is the coins and the bars, just like you potentially see. What's that in the movie in the Mini Cooper? Come on, guys, help me with that. The coins and there's probably lots of those movies. Um, in Las Vegas, they do the Las Vegas. Come on, help me out in the chat box.
Somebody needs to help him because I have
Help
no
me out here.
idea.
Yes, I am pausing on that for a second. It's the getaway in the mini car. There's so many of these movies, right? The bars. So um what
Italian Job, Joe said. Is that
Which
what you're
one?
talking about?
Italian Job. Great movie. One of my favorite movies. Thank you. Thank you. You're listening. I appreciate it. Yes, Italian Job. Um, your IRA can own those things. Now, what you can't do is your IRA cannot purchase them and then they send them to you to put in your Mini Cooper and put in your safe. When your IRA buys the actual physical gold, that gold is then sent to a regulated depository. And they are approved. These are massive. Claudia, have you been to the one here? There's one here in Nevada, or is that someone else on our team that went there to that one here in Nevada?
No, so our compliance team went to that. They
Yeah.
actually went, they took a tour. They actually have super, super safe, protocols. They have to wear some coats. They can't have any kind of
You gotta send
pocket.
your ID first. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it was.
background's checked. I mean,
And
so
because they had such a unique experience, the compliance team actually brought the owner to go ahead and do a presentation here at Horizon to all of our teams. So we have actually seen a presentation of how it looks, what we have to do, how secure those depositories are, because they do have to be super secure. I mean, you're storing millions and millions of dollars of gold and other precious metals. So we're very, very familiar with how it works.
I'm spending a little extra time on this because it's an important step. Is in fact a lot of people try to contest this. There was some individuals that went and tried to, which is not necessarily the best idea, to protest this and sue the IRS to say that that is not applicable to the rules and the laws. That if I have my gold bars that my IRA owns, let me put them in my safe, in the safes inside of a bank, and it's not underneath your custody. Well, you, by having the key to opening up that safe and accessing potentially the gold coins or bars, is a problem. So these major institutions that are licensed, insured, and everything else and regulated hold the bars, and you get confirmation of that. And so this is not anything new. These depositories have been around for a very long time, and so what happens is after you've selected and you've bought your precious metals with your IRA, you inform us to send money, and we send the money to purchase the precious metals. Those metals are then sent to the depository on your behalf, and you get record of that and confirmation of that. And then inside of your retirement account, it'll show a posting that's where, whatever depository, there's a handful of those that people use in general. That's the process. I took a little bit of time, not because it's a long thing. It's actually a very simple process. We have dozens of people doing this every single week. And so we can help you too. This is not new to our business, and we love this kind of business. So, um, the process I think I just described is right here in a different format, but the same thing. You fund your self-directed IRA, you find your broker, and then you obviously buy on the, whatever day you buy on. Like today, I just showed those prices prior, as far as the pricing goes. The broker ships the metals to the depository. I'm sorry, you complete a direction of investment down on the bottom right. That's a form with us at Horizon Trust Company. This form is basically you directing and signing and telling us that you are purchasing X amount of precious metals that are approved, from X broker or dealer, that broker, and then we will send those monies to them, and they then, after a two-factor verification is completed with you, we will send the money out, and the broker ships the metals directly to the depository. This is the process. It is very simple, and very clean. And I would say because of today's marketplace, it's happening all of the time. People are looking for more stability with inflation, with the stock market changes. This is a good thing for people to add to their portfolio. So if you're in this boat, and maybe you're one of those individuals, I mean, people ask me all the time, what should I invest in? I only have $5,000 or $10,000 in this old 401k. This is one of the, I guess, perfect answers, actually. Because a lot of times when I talk about real estate, it's really hard to be like, hey, look, that old 401k that's got $13,200, put it in real estate. Well, easier said than done. Not very easy. But that same $13,000, if you got another retirement account and other assets, et cetera, but you only have this $14,000, whatever the number is, smaller old 401k hanging out there, you can absolutely move it over, get it invested in some precious metals if it's a small percentage of your portfolio, and start, and buy something that's solid, that is consistent, and might make you feel a little bit better because it is a hard asset. I always tell people I like investing in rocks, not stocks. Stocks are paper. This is even better than rocks. It's gold, and silver and precious metals. So, and platinum. So, how much should you have? I think I've already said this a lot of times. This is up for you to talk to your professional, licensed professional. It's not my job to tell you. Generally, this is, it really ranges based upon kind of what your scope of when you want to retire, and if you're looking for cash flow, and something Claudia and I were talking about in the office with a few other people here today was actually about this subject, about, hey, who is precious metals buying? Who's it for? Who's it intended for? And the one thing that we came to the conclusion with, and maybe we're wrong, and someone could let me know if I'm wrong, but someone who's looking to do a quick flip, this is not that kind of investment. If you're looking to buy something, buy gold, unless you think it's you are buying at the bare minimum, super super low, and something's going to happen, it's going to spike. But in general, what I see, this is a longer term hold. This is not a 6-month flip, and so this is why it's a piece of your portfolio. So, I think I really honed in on this already. No metals that are purchased by your retirement account can be held by you. It's got to be held by a licensed depository. So, I think I nailed that already. You can buy lots of different types of precious metals. I think the most important thing, and again, you can look at our website too, is it's got to be it's purity. If you start buying, things that are not pure, it's more commemorative kind of stuff. We all see these commemorative coins. those are not gonna fly. Those are collectibles. And so
And to add to that, that's why it's so important that you guys work with a reputable broker, because they'll be able to tell you as soon as they know that you're doing an IRA metals purchase, they'll be able to tell you all the approved ones. You don't want to go with somebody that gave you one that isn't approved. Obviously, they don't know how to do the transaction. So it's really, really important you do your research, make sure you're getting a reputable broker that has good reviews and that, has had good transactions.
absolutely. Thanks, Claudia. And there's a few more slides here, and then we're going to do some questions and answers. So make sure if you got any questions, please put them here. But uh, reminder that if in here, I think Claudia has put, or she will put, our link. If you want to schedule an appointment, if you want to look into this or want to know a little bit more about precious metals, our team helps so many individuals get their account set up to work with their dealers and brokers and buying precious metals. So schedule an appointment with us, click our link. There's no hard sales call at all. It's not how I work. We want to give as much content and education as possible. We want you to be better informed on how the process works. We want to administer the account for you. Make sure you do it the right way. And that's what we're really, really good at. So she's put the link in there, I'm sure. I try not to look too much at some of the comments here, but I'll start talking about the Italian Job again or something. So you told me to not talk about sports, Claudia, and so I'm going with movies today, although I can't remember it. So thanks for the help. Where can you buy them? I've already talked about this a lot. In our investment corner, you can click on there and see. These are common. There's a lot of companies, or I should say, a handful of companies that our investors currently use. We've posted them on there, but they are not limited to that. You can use other precious metal companies. In fact, we welcome them. If any of you are listening and invest in precious metal companies, feel free to refer them over to us. We'd love to add them too, and have clients working with us with them as well. So. And so as we kind of go to questions and answers, I obviously our QR code here, set an appointment. This is my personal email. You can email me, Greg Herlean at horizontrust.com. We will get back to you. If you're not sure, if there's a particular type of metal that you're not aware of, or that you are aware of that you're not sure qualifies for your self-directed IRA, we can absolutely help you with that. We're very good at helping set up your account, get your money established there, and then helping you get your money through a direction investment form out to the broker or out to the investment or title company for you to make your purchases. It's what we do. And we do it on a daily basis, hundreds, sometimes thousands in a week of different investments. So we can help you with that. So that is my quick summary on precious metals and the common questions people ask about precious metals. I want to share just lastly, and then we'll go to any questions, are that this is something that many more people are doing than ever because of the uncertainty in the stock market. This is something that's a consistent, solid type of return. If you're looking for that, you're scared of the market or uncertain of the market, this could be the right kind of investment for you. So, Claudia, is there anything I missed, or is any questions here that we can kind of jump on that we have answers for?
We do have some questions. So I think you did a great job at actually explaining the process. And I know that these questions are actually really good. It looks like people are thinking about this subject. So Sandra here is, do you have to hold them for any period of time? So once you buy a precious metals, is there a time to hold them?
No, you don't have to hold them for a specific time. And like I said before, this isn't one of those, quick, necessarily flip it very quick kind of assets. But can you? Absolutely. So if you happen to buy low and the market goes up and the coin goes from $2,000 to whatever, $2,500, 25% increase in 6 months or whatever it may be, you can absolutely sell. So so maybe I should a little bit retract from this as a long-term hold. It really depends on the market, just like anything. But my experience seeing what friends and family and associates have invested in precious metals has typically been involved in a little longer play, looking to diversify their portfolio so they can be more aggressive on maybe some of their stocks and picks there and be more conservative on their precious metals. So yeah.
Perfect. Oh, this one's a great one. Bonnie says, do you have to invest all of your IRA or 401k into a precious metals transaction?
No, you can do any portion of it. You can just do some coins. You can just do a certain dollar amount. And Claudia, maybe you can help me. What's typically the minimum investment that you've seen with clients investing in precious metals?
So precious metals is usually around 5 to 10,000, and then I've seen anywhere from a couple $100,000. So it really
We've seen
depends
more than
on.
that. We've seen clients do a
Oh
lot.
yeah, we've seen a million, but I don't want to like our typical average client is investing about probably 10 to 50,000, and then we do have our higher investors that have invested over $1 million in precious metals. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not advising anybody. I'm just saying that we have seen transactions that big.
Well,
And
this,
obviously it goes back to the broker, making sure that you trust them, and that you do your due diligence. But yes, we have seen some really big numbers in it.
sorry, and this was like the perfect example. There's so many investments out there that you have to be accredited for. Like, oh, I wish I could do that. I'm not accredited. This is not one of those. You don't have to be accredited. You could be, it could be my son who's 16 years old who has a Roth who buys, gold today and holds it for 5, 10, 15, 30 years. And this is something for you listening that has an old 401k with your previous employer that's sitting there, you're not sure what to do with because it's not big enough to go out and flip a piece of real estate. This is something you can do with it. So if you're listening and have one of these old retirement accounts, this absolutely would qualify for it. Any other questions?
Yes, it looks like we have. How can you confirm the cost of metals before buying from a broker to make sure the broker isn't charging outrageous amounts higher than what they're worth? That's a great question, Bree. So, do you want to?
I mean, you might have an answer for this as well, but my quick answer is there's online posted sites that has spot pricing. You can see what the gold is trading at today. And so, most likely, when you're talking to brokers or dealers that are selling gold, it's going to be at a premium. There's going to be a cost to it. And by the way, that shouldn't totally deter you because you want to buy it from a reputable company. And just like I said in real estate, there is fees and commissions, but do your due diligence and see which ones might be the best for you. Because you obviously want to pay less in fees, but there's spot pricing online. Claudia, is there any other way you'd answer that question?
No, you absolutely hit it. It has to be, you have to do your due diligence, and you have to go and look at spot pricing. It's not something that the brokers can keep from you. It is public information. So as long as you know how to look for it, and you go online, and you do your due diligence, you'll be able to tell how much the markup is, and then they'll be able to explain what the markup is, what they're doing to mark it up, and why they'll be able to justify it, and then from there you can decide if that's something that you are willing to go ahead and pay. So that's totally up to you and your broker. It has nothing to do with Horizon Trust, and it's not something that you would be able to ask us at all. It would have to be whoever you're buying the precious metals with.
Yep, perfect.
Let's see here. I have somebody that says, what is, we were actually discussing how to pronounce this. Paladin, palladium, right?
Yeah.
What is palladium typically used for? Also, when one metal goes up, does another drop? It's a great question.
I don't know that coin that was in there, so I apologize. I bet someone else can quickly Google it and tell me, or Alex put it in our chat box. Um, but I
Ac-
don't know that precious metal, what it's used for.
According to Google, palladium is the number one metal used in fuel cells. So most likely a lot of battery charging Teslas, your electric vehicles, that's most likely where you're going to be seeing a lot of palladium.
There
Oh,
you go. There you go.
it's
So,
it's probably really a really lucrative one right now, I would think.
and
And
I
it
said,
says when
yeah, I
one
mean,
metal goes up, does the another go down? I don't think necessarily, right? That,
not necessarily. I don't, and so, but I haven't traded enough precious metals personally. For me, I've used it as a part of my diversification of a buy and hold, strictly a buy and hold. And so for me personally, no. But that's why I think I've tried to focus on the administration of precious metals, which is what we do. We're not those that are going to give you the historical and the scale and a spreadsheet on telling you what's the right ones. But do a little bit of due diligence. It would probably take you about 5 minutes to see kind of how things parallel out as far as precious metals go. But I would say in general that I've seen they typically follow each other. As they go up together and they go down together, typically.
I'm actually curious, is there anybody that's watching that is invested in precious metals, either personally or in their IRA? I would like to see if anybody is. I don't see anybody in the chat, so probably not, which is good. You're here to learn. Oh, we do have somebody that says yes. I bought some. Oh, we have a couple actually. Would anybody want to join and tell us what your personal experience has been? We have a couple people that said
Yeah, I would
yes.
love to have someone join us. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I think it would be a really interesting part of the webinar to see how it went and the experience on the other side.
Anyone,
So we'll see if
anyone,
anybody
they
joins,
might not,
but for
people
right
might be
now,
watching with their shirt off, or eating dinner. So they might, but
we
if you
don't have
want
to
to,
put you on camera if you don't want to.
if you want to join, put it in the chat box and we'll have you join us and I'd love get your feedback. So if not, it's okay. So,
So while
It
we're
looks like
waiting,
we
we did
have
ask.
it
Oh,
looks
go
like we
ahead.
have Michael Wellman who raised his hand.
all right.
Uh, so let me see. Oh, and I just lost him.
Oh,
I know, Michael. We actually just helped him. We just helped him about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Michael, you can give your testimonial of how it went because I know that we had an expeditious transfer for you. So I'm excited that Michael's actually on here.
Michael, you're on mute, it looks like. Maybe come off mute unless Alex needs to take him off. But let's,
Yeah, I need to do it. Let me see if I can figure it out.
oh, there he is. I think, Michael, you there?
Yeah, I
This
was muted. The fire alarm just went off in my hotel, so
Oh,
I think I might have to leave. But I bought some gold several years ago, and it came up, a little, but not tremendously. And then I had um, uh, some folks that wanted to manage my money, and they convinced me that gold wasn't necessarily the best thing to be in. So I ended up selling it. And now I've taken the money out of that and put it into my own self-directed solo K. The gold, when I bought it, probably 2017 or 2019 maybe, was around $1,700 an ounce. So today it's up, what, 2,000?
Yeah, it's a little over 2000. So yeah, that's a big actually increase.
Had I hung on to it, but
Yes.
I
You hung
didn't.
on to
So that's my typical type of investment.
it.
I don't seem to do real well when it comes to investing.
So do you think you'll be buying more precious metals then, Michael?
I'm actually thinking about taking a percentage, like maybe 10% of my solo K and put it into gold because I keep hearing things that it could break out, but you know, it does make sense to put just a part of it to be diversified.
Well, look, thanks, Michael. And Michael, you don't smell any smoke, right? You're doing all right over there?
Oh, the alarm stopped, so I'm grateful for that.
you said you're
What?
in a hotel. Are you visiting family for Christmas or where are you at?
No, I travel 100% for my job, and I'll be working up through Christmas Eve, and then go home and be home for Christmas Eve night.
Well, thanks, Michael. Thanks for listening and also coming on and sharing with us. I think that's a great example. I mean, right there, buying, he would have bought around 1700, and if he had it today, it'd be a little over 2000. I mean, that math's um, almost a 20% rate of return if you would have held on to that. I realize you said that, Michael. And look, that's how a lot of investments are, right? So, but yeah, that's a great example. So thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for what you do. You guys really helped me out. Just so everybody knows, I did get into a opportunity fund this week, and you helped me create a my solo K. I got a LLC created, the solo K created, all the funds transferred over, and actually directed it to this opportunity fund in real estate, and all that in about 1 week's time.
Wow, that's great.
Yes,
Well,
team is excellent.
thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate that. So, all right. Well, anyone else here, Michael, and make sure you're safe over there. So, and happy holidays to you. So, what any other questions as we wrap up?
Yes. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing that. He's one of our newer clients, and we actually just finished his DOI transaction, like he said, a couple days ago. So I know him very well. That's awesome that he came on. All right. So a couple more. Joe is asking for the initial setup fee. Do you want to go over the fee a little bit more?
Yeah.
We already went over it, but I think let's go over it again.
Yeah. So the setup fee is $250 one time setup fee when doing precious metals, and then there's an annual fee of $395, and that's really it. That includes the depository fee inside of that $395. So there's not an additional fee on top of that. So when you make that payment to us, we administer your account, and then from there, we will also pay the fee to the depository. So yeah.
Awesome. I have Frederick here with actually a real estate question, so I'm going to ask it. Greg, I just opened my self-directed IRA to invest in real estate. It requires a 7 to 10-year hold, but it pays every quarter on the investment. I am with Horizon. Is this good for my first start?
Well, look, I think I mean, I don't know enough about the investment itself, but I think it's you being active, because opening up your account and self-directing it and putting in an investment quickly that you've already vetted out, I think is great. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 10-year investment outlook on really anything, unless you're looking for liquidity in like 5 years. But it sounds like you're not, and quarterly distributions, that's great. That's one of the things that reasons why, we talked about, precious metals. One reason why I like real estate so much is typically there is either an exit or there is cash flow. And so getting monthly, quarterly, and or annually distributions back into my IRA, and so it can compound and I can reinvest, is stellar. So I think that's phenomenal. I think it's great, and keep it up. So yeah, and just make sure they keep making those quarterly payments. So that's great.
That's awesome. So Bonnie here is asking, can precious metals be included in a living trust? Can they be held in a living trust?
Well, so that would be considered non-IRA money. That would just be your outside money owned by your trust. And I don't do that personally because it's done through my IRA, but I believe you can. I believe you can also an LLC can purchase coins. And if it's owned by your trust, you have two options. If it's typically owned by your trust, if you're going to use a depository, and that money will stay in the depository in the trust name, that's not a problem. But a lot of people also, if they're not doing it inside of an IRA, they can also take the actual physical coins, put them in their own safe or in a safety deposit box. I'm not necessarily recommending that. You can use a depository as well for non-IRA precious metals. You can use it for yourself as well. Why would that make sense? It's way safer than putting it in your own safe. If you got assets, it's insured in these depositories. You got it in a safe at home. Obviously, if there's an issue, there's no guarantees of that. So yeah, great question.
And when you have an IRA, you can have your living trust be your beneficiary. So if you wanted to eventually just go into the living trust, then you would just name the beneficiary of the IRA the living trust, and that's how you would be able to just kind of funnel it that way, so that the precious metals are owned by that when you pass away. David is asking, how do you choose brokers that are listed on your site? Is there a vetting process of any type? I can answer this one. There is a huge vetting process. The compliance team is definitely very, very hands-on when it comes to precious metals brokers that we advertise, which is why we only have one right now. We're actually vetting another 3 that we want to go ahead and put on there. But we do have a compliance team that is fully committed to making sure that we have people, I mean, we have brokers that are reputable on there and that have a consistent process of actually moving metals, because it's highly regulated by the IRS. We are regulated as a custodian. So if we're seeing that brokers are having transactions and the metal of the movements isn't within IRA guidelines, or there is not any transaction history, like any kind of that, like, they are giving us the information that the metals are being in process of being transferred, then we do not move forward with them as brokers anymore. We have had to do that with a couple of them, and we're okay with it. We'd rather not work with brokers that are not keeping up with IRS guidelines, because these are our clients and we do care about that process. So definitely a vetting process, and we are very selective.
And I'll piggyback that. We had something come up a year or two ago with a precious metal company that we didn't. I mean, we don't endorse any of them, and so. But I will say that this company came over to us because a client wanted to use this company as their dealer, their broker, and so we had to follow their instructions, and they filled out a direction of invest form, and we sent the money on their behalf to buy those coins. Uh, well, that company never followed up and gave us confirmation of the actual coins being transferred to the depository. That's a problem. And so, so part of the vetting and the reason why we put some names on the website is just for for education and informational purposes only. Like I said, you don't have to use those companies. We just know we've posted those companies because we've seen the whole circle, the whole process, meaning clients that buy those assets, the confirmation occurs, the actual physical gold arrives at the depository and is confirmed that it arrives. That's a critical part. And so knowing that it arrives there and it's safe makes us feel comfortable. So that's why those companies will put on the website. But like I said, you can use whoever you'd like.
Perfect. Jorge is asking, can you invest in crypto with my Horizon account? So can you do a presentation on this? He's asking.
Yeah, I actually can.
This is Greg's favorite. No, I'm just
Well, look, actually, I've got before and even during, you get chats here on this, and I also get text questions that people will text me that are on this call listening, and yeah, I can have. I think what I'd have is I actually host and have a crypto kind of expert come on. We've used one or two different providers that have a great process and back end office on purchasing crypto. And so if that's a request and a need, I actually would love to have one. I'll interview somebody. I'm not an expert in the space, as why Claudia was laughing, is I know enough to be dangerous and enough to buy, because I have bought some Bitcoin and sold some Bitcoin and made money on it. But I am not an expert on it. And so I think I would have a guest come join me and we could ask questions together. So sure, I will put that down here for first quarter in the next 6 to 8 weeks to have a crypto person come on. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions that you guys want to go ahead and have Greg ask? I think I covered most of them. If I didn't, put it on the bottom and I will have him answer it again. But
we're just about 5, and so anything, if there's nothing else, I'm just going to read it. You guys reiterate. You've seen here the QR code. My email, we will get back to you. What you do and having success is important to us. We will administer the account. We're not going to get paid for any decisions you make. Our job is to help facilitate your decision. So if there's nothing else, Claudia, should we wrap up? Is there anything else here that came in?
Frederick, I see your question. It's more about an investment that you have held here. So I will have Alex go ahead and answer that for you. We'll go ahead and call you tomorrow and go over your individual transaction. So I do see you.
Perfect.
Other than that, no, I think we're good to go.
All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for the time today. I appreciate your time and listening on the precious metal subject. Thanks.
Bye, guys. Happy holidays.